Everything he did was with intention and it worked. I would say that there's little things that I would have done differently, but there's a point where you'll see a sculptor, they're interested in the sculpture, not the mold. The mold is a damn hassle. So I think this guy did great, and it showed enough to say that it's not overwhelming. Sculpting a portrait and making a mold. I know you guys can read that too. Let's do it. Making a rubber mold. You know how I feel about spraying is it's not always necessary, but I think it's a good choice in this because he's working with a delicate clay model. Oh, he's right into it. Okay, let's talk about this. I don't know what the spray release is that he put on, but there's some standard spray releases that you can do. If you're doing any spray release, just make sure you have a place for that spray to go. It's not going on your cameras, on your face, or anything like that. The first layer of rubber that he's putting on, in my mind, should be a glaze coat, and it looks a little thixotropic, but let's see what happens. That's a tiny brush. Okay, well, I take it back. It's the right size. You gotta get those nostrils. Okay. So, it's confusing again. In my mind, the way that he was putting on the rubber was like a painter. He was smearing it. When I look at the textures of that hair, I would have filled the depth of the hair with some of the silicone rather than just trying to brush over it. Because if you brush over it, you can actually put a web right over the cavity and you can create an air pocket because you've gone like this. This is the pocket, and instead of putting silicone in it, you pull it right over it and there's an opening in the center. So I'm just more mindful of those gaps early on. I think this guy's done this a lot. He's wearing gloves. I mean, that's a win these days, right? The spatula is pretty big for this piece. Okay, pre-made keys, bing bing, from a little ice cube tray probably. Oh, and he pinned them in, nice. Not a lot of people do that. So now the silicone is cured and he's putting in the parting line. Yeah, this guy's done it. That clay does not always stick on those overhang cliffs. Yeah, he buttressed it. Wet clay, water clay is very good for this type of mold. Man, he's flying. This edits fast. Oh, charming. Not what I do, but I'll take it. A little too watery. This is an old school technique, splashing. That's messy. Yep. At least he's using the right amount of hemp. He's not taking the bird's nest, you know? He's got the right amount. So, I know this is for the camera, but I would have had a background behind this sculpture because he's splashing, and look at all that artwork right behind him. Has he got a stone table? No, plastic. He's just put plastic over it. I used to have stone tables. They were a little expensive, but man, I loved it. I just treated myself. Okay, that's fine. It's all good. What's that? Why? Oh, maybe this is where he's going to pry the mold apart. He's thinking 2 steps ahead. Good job, brother. It's not needed, but I like it. So this video is jumping ahead. They're not boring you with all the details. It was about the sculpture more. It looks like kind of clay slip as a release agent. I don't know. Look at that. Boom. Like a rock quarry. Yeah, it's thinking ahead. I never did this, but highly effective. Oh, his kids getting in it. I like when there's a younger generation involved. Yeah, so far he's killing it. Okay, I gotta stop there. So do you see the vice grips? When you cut silicone, you have to put tension in it, because if you cut silicone without pulling it apart, you just end up cutting the same place because it wants to go back together. So you pull, cut, and then it separates. The thing that I wouldn't have done is he's cutting his seam line in the same place he put the dividing wall. So let me use this. So this is where the dividing wall was for the mother mold. And now he's going to cut right along that. It seems intuitively correct, but what happens is now the silicone liner has an opening at the same place the mother mold has an opening, so water can come right out, or casting material can come right out. I would have cut it slightly offset here along that so that the seam lines didn't align. I didn't like to have my mold cut in the same place that the mother mold was divided. It won't crush him, it's just a small thing. It's dangerous. You see how thick that is? But you got to do it. He's sparing the sculpture too. That was pretty, it doesn't always happen. I use Sureforms. There we go. It looks like a piece of glass, right? That's weird how that's lit. Saran wrap, why not? Whoa! That's why you had saran wrap. Oh, so what he didn't show is, I would have had a long cow examination glove. Have you ever seen those? Okay. And then when it was half filled, I would have put my hand down into the cast and created some momentum in there to make sure that plaster was covering the detail. But maybe he did something off camera like that. Okay, he's doing legit here, man. This is what I'll say it at the end. Let me wait. Yeah. So here's what I would say is that this is above average and at the same time baseline mold making techniques, meaning everything he did was with intention and it worked. I would say that there's little things that I would have done differently, but there's a point where you'll see a sculptor, they're interested in the sculpture, not the mold. The mold is a damn hassle. So I think this guy did great, and it showed enough to say that it's not overwhelming, but you can see that this is a pretty beefy silicone mold. The liner was a little heavy. He didn't put colors between the layers, so I think it's easy to get overbuilt. But this is kind of what you would expect to see if you walked into a mold shop. It's someone that says this is fine for me, and I think it is. And so I'll say good intermediate mold making video here. So thanks for watching.